Good morning to all of you. Worthy Principal, Government Degree College Gandharbal, Professor Bashir Ahmed Pareji, Nodal Coordinator, Virtual Lab Nodal Center, Government Degree College Gandharbal, Professor Mudassar Roshan Ji, Technical Coordinator, Asia Hume, Revered faculty members, and dear students. I, myself, Dr. Pankaj Gupta, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Government Degree College Kathua, thank from the bottom of my heart to our worthy Commissioner Secretary to Government Higher Education Department, JNK, Janab Talat Pravez Rohila sir, for taking this initiative of developing nodal centers in some degree colleges of JNK UT. It was his vision and continuous motivation that Virtual Lab Nodal Center can be established in various degree colleges in this challenging time of COVID 19. I would like to thank Professor Bashir Ahmed Pare and Nodal Coordinator, Virtual Lab Nodal Center, Mudassar Roshanji, for giving me an opportunity to be the part of this one day workshop on virtual labs. So, before starting with the technical session, I would like to give a brief introduction about the virtual labs. Virtual Lab is actually a project initiated by the Ministry of Human Resource Development, Government of India. It intends to develop a complete LMS where the students can avail various tools for learning, such as video lectures, animations, simulations, demonstrations, and self-evaluations. Virtual labs were dedicated to the nation on 23rd February 2012, and at that time, the in charge of the project was Professor S. Prasad, former director, IIT Delhi. Now, Virtual Labs project offers more than 120 virtual labs in all domains of science and technology. So, Virtual Lab finds its place in the various digital initiatives started by the Ministry of Education, Government of India, and you will find the virtual labs as here. So, these are some of the salient features of the virtual labs. Virtual labs are actually free to use. You just require a PC, laptop with internet connection. Earlier, the labs were developed on the flash players and hence accessible on laptop, PC only. But now, the labs are developed using open source environment and hence can be accessed through smartphones with internet connections. So these are inexpensive labs, and you can these are anywhere, anytime lab. In colleges, there is a time limit for each experiment, that is 2 hours per day. But in virtual lab, users can access the lab 24 by 7 and even from home. Moreover, they can do mistakes and there are chances of innovation. So these can also be used as add-on to physical labs. Students can do the experiment virtually at home and repeat the same in physical lab in more efficient manner. So whenever any institute, especially our colleges, have to start new experiment, they faced with a dilemma from where to get the money for sophisticated instruments. Thus, it is not possible to perform the experiment in absence of costly instruments. That problem is solved in the virtual lab by sharing the instruments. So the content that is available in the virtual lab platform is of high quality, as it is prepared by some experts from the IITs, and the web is also very friendly. So it is a national impact of the project. Nowadays, more than 1200 nodal centers developed for the virtual labs, and more than 110 virtual labs are available. So participants in the various workshops are more than 63,000. The usage is 45 lakhs. So nodal center is actually an interface between the virtual labs and the users. Whatever the problems or the queries appear are raised by the users, the nodal center has to address these queries with the help of virtual lab teams. So these are the various types of virtual labs: modeling simulation based labs, measurement based labs, remote triggering of experiments. So simulation based labs is actually in simulation based labs, a simulator is provided to user which works like an actual experiment. Simulations are carried out remotely. Just perform the experiment in virtual lab and repeat the same in the second day in the physical lab. This is one of the big advantage. In measurement based lab, which works on the basis of preloaded mathematical calculations, last one is remote triggered lab, where actual experiment is triggered remotely and output is communicated back to the user through the internet. This class of lab provides the user the results of real-time experiment. Such type of labs are difficult to scale up and cater up to limited number of users. Time slots are booked before conducting experiments. So now, what's the difference between the physical lab and the virtual lab? The physical lab is a costly lab. There are chances of accidents and options. There are limited options for innovations, but the experience is best. Whereas the virtual labs, the cost is almost nil. These are safe, provide wider and safer options. These are anytime, anywhere lab, and these are considered to be the second best. So, now welcome to the technical session on chemical sciences. Now, what are the experiments that we will demonstrate here? Determination of viscosity of organic solvents, acid-base titrations, and solvent effects on the UV visible absorption spectra. So what you have to do is, in the Google, just write VLabs or type this link in the URL. Here you can click on the virtual labs. So these are the different broad areas of the virtual lab, and here you will find the participating institutes. These are various IITs and NITs, and Amrita University, who take part in the development of virtual labs. These are the broad areas, and since this technical session is about the chemical sciences, so I will click here on the chemical sciences. You will find different types of chemical sciences labs here. That is ultra fast laser spectroscopy virtual lab, it is developed by IIT Kanpur. Quantum chemistry lab is developed by IIT Hyderabad. Molecular fluorescence spectroscopy lab, that is developed by IIT Hyderabad. Colloidal and surface chemistry lab, developed by IIT Hyderabad. Molecular absorption spectroscopy lab, developed by IIT Hyderabad. Circular dichroism spectroscopy lab, developed by IIT Hyderabad. Physical chemistry lab, it is also developed by IIT Hyderabad. Physical chemistry lab developed by the Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. Inorganic lab developed by Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, and the organic chemistry lab is under maintenance and it is also under development by Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham lab. Now, we will try some of the experiments, and let us start with the inorganic chemistry lab. Here you will find different experiments, and I will choose acid base titration, which is a basic experiment. No, here you will find the theory, objective, procedure. Here you will find the procedure of that particular experiment, how to do the experiment. Here self-evaluation means you can evaluate yourself what you have learned from this experiment. from the theoretical part of the procedure. That various multiple choice questions you will find here. And the next is simulations. Simulations means how to do the experiment. Here you will get experience of real life experiment. In the type every in the organic chemistry lab, in acid base titration, what you have to find, you are given with the some solution, and you have to determine the strength of that particular solution. So in here the titrant you can take, you can change the titrant. You can use sulfuric acid, you can use hydrobromic acid, you can use the oxalic acid, you can use the acetic acid. So you can take weak acid, you can take strong acid depending upon the nature of the experiment. Let us take the acetic acid as a titrant. Here the speed of the titrant, how much you want to add per second. Titrate. Here you can change the titrate also. There is a strong base, weak base that we put here as a sodium hydroxide. Normality of the titrate, here it is zero point 0.1 normal. You can change here 0.2, 0.3 as per your wish or as per the experiment. The volume of the titrate with 10 ml, you can change this also, that is you can change it to 10 to 20. And indicator can be methyl orange, indicator can be phenolphthalein. And after that you have to start the experiment. Now the end point is the change in the color, and whenever you observe the change in the color at that particular last drop, you have to stop the experiment and note down the volume of the titrant that is used in this particular titration. And after that you can do the calculation and determine the strength of the unknown solution. Now at the time the color changes, you have to stop and note down the amount of the titrant that is used. Here it is 1 ml. So let us repeat the experiment by changing the normality, or you can change the normality of the titrate. You can reset the experiment by taking one normal titrate and then repeat the experiment. Initially you can change the speed of the titrant also. What you have to note is the amount of the titrant that is used to neutralize the titrate that is available in the conical flask. As soon as the color changes, here the indicator that I used is methyl orange. You can change the indicator as per your requirement and note down the change in the color. Here you can increase the speed of the titrant. Now, you see the change in the color occurs, and I stop the experiment. Note down the volume of the titrant that is used in this particular titration and find out the volume, find out the strength by using the normality equation. So, this one is the acid-base titration experiment. Now, let us start the second experiment. Physical chemistry. In physical chemistry, how to determine the viscosity of organic solvents. Here also, you will find the theory, you will find the procedure from here. These are the various materials that are required, reagents, procedure, observations, table, and then self-evaluation. Some multiple choice question you will find here. After doing the experiment, you may be able to give the answer. Then simulator. From simulation, you get a real-time experience, just like you are doing the experiment in the lab. Here it is the Ostwald viscometer. These are the different solvents that you can use for the determination of coefficient of viscosity. And in this experiment, what we have to determine, we have to determine the time taken for the flow of the liquid from this point to this point. So select a liquid. Let us take a toluene here. The first step is the fill the liquid. Now after filling the liquid, you have to fill the bulb. And in this experiment, we have to note the time taken. No, when the liquid flow from this point to this point. To start the experiment, now you can see that the stopwatch start. You have to stop the watch immediately and note down the time taken for the flow of the liquid from the one point to the second mark. Here 35.8 to 7. Note down this time taken for the flow of the liquid from the first point to the second point. Now reset the experiment and then fill it with the nitrobenzene. Start the experiment. Viscosity is actually the resistance to the flow of the liquid. So more viscous liquids will take the more time and the less viscous liquids will take less time. So earlier we used toluene as a liquid. Now we are using nitrobenzene as a solvent. We have to stop the watch immediately when the liquor reaches to the second mark. So nitrobenzene, the time taken is 1 minute 6 second and 0.373. So similarly, you can do the experiments with the water also, and you can apply the time taken. Here the flow time in second for water, for toluene, for nitrobenzene, and then use the formula to determine the coefficient of viscosity. The third experiment that we will. So our next experiment is from molecular absorption spectroscopy lab. Here we selected solvent effects on the UV visible absorption spectra. So this is introduction about the UV visible absorption spectra. You can get the theory part also from here. How to perform the experiment. Here you will find the procedure part. You have to prepare different solutions. After that, you have to do the experiment by following these steps. Here we can go to the lab by getting a real experiment type experience. So first step is to prepare the solvents and select the solvent from here. Here I have selected the acetonitrile. After selecting the acetonitrile, take the solvent and give it. After that, transfer the solvent from the volumetric flask to the cuvette. Now start the absorption spectrophotometer by clicking here. Now open the lid, then shift the cuvette. Since it is a double beam spectrophotometer, close it. Now run the wavelength by clicking on the monitor. Here you can give the wavelength 430 at the start and the 275 at the end. Start the experiment. So you will get the graph like this. So this graph is for acetonitrile. After that, you can close the experiment and then reset the experiment by choosing another solvent such as ethanol. Take the solvent and repeat all the steps again. Fill the cuvette with the ethanol. Start the spectrophotometer. Open the lid and shift the cuvette. So the reference solution will automatically come since it is a double beam spectrophotometer. Start the wavelength. Fix the initial as the 430 and the end as 275. Start the experiment. You'll get the graph. So, but after getting different graphs, you can compare the graphs to get the lambda max. In this way, you study the effect of solvents on the UV visible absorption spectra. So this is all about today's technical session on the chemical sciences. Thank you.